Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the esports.net Rocket League show. My name is Oliver Bass, otherwise known as Bass in the Past, joined alongside by the Pyro J, and we are here to talk to you guys today about UE5 within Rocket League. And Pyro, this has been a hot button issue, or, well, I would say topic, not necessarily issue, over the last year or two, as Rocket League actually had somewhat of a leak a couple years ago where it was said that they were hiring some employees for a UE5 project and also copyrighted UE5 Rocket League at the same time. That info went out to the public, and since then, it has been a buzz. Whether it is updates in the future, when it's going to come out, no matter what, there is speculative ideas about UE5, but today we're going to talk about maybe some of the ways that UE5, when it does come to fruition, can really help out Rocket League.
Yeah, let's clarify real quick here, because some people are going to hear UE. Is he trying to say EU and the 5 teams that are going to RLCS Worlds? Is that what's happening? No. UE5 is Unreal Engine 5, guys. That is a game engine. It's like a content management system, basically, to produce and allow your game to run. And Unreal Engine 5 would be a massive upgrade from the decade or so years that Rocket League was made on in Unreal Engine 3, I want to say. So lots of advantages that can come with this. And listen, the reason we're talking about this now is that there's just increased buzz around this, around the community. The last comment that was made by Psyonix was that, hey, we're just not publicly commenting on this at the moment. So while there's a lot of buzz, there's also a lot of uncertainty, Bass, not only with when this update could or would come, but also what will it bring. But let's get into it. Let's talk about what it could bring, because while it's sort of pie in the sky, we're not absolutely sure. We do have ideas. We have thoughts. I'll start on what I personally am most excited for, and that is just the fact that a new game on a new engine is going to make updates so much easier in the game. Like, an update just came out today, Bass, for a new season. Everyone got a disconnect signal in free play. That, my friends, is impossible. Yet it happened. But I would imagine with the new game engine, these updates are so much more simpler to be made. I have a programming background, and when you're able to refactor the code and have a much more stabilized foundation for your code base, these updates, they're just easier to make.
And on top of that, it's also due to how UE5 itself is structured in comparison. So again, like you said, Unreal Engine 3 is at this point about a decade old, if not more. And the issue was that when Rocket League even came out in 2015, it was already basically on an old engine. Unreal had come out with Unreal 4, UE4, which was not necessarily a permanent fixture. They kind of talked about how they're going to move over to UE5 once it was available. It was kind of a stepping stone, if you will. So they didn't build the game on UE4. They built it on UE3. And in that, it's more or less spaghetti code, which is basically a term to say that everything just kind of is everywhere. There's no real structure to it. It just kind of continually falls into itself. And if you ever want to make an update, you have to go back and be able to directly change different coding, whereas it's a lot more segmented and structured within UE5. So if you do have an issue, you can figure out where exactly that issue is and resolve it a lot easier. It's a much more updated program, which means that, like you said, updates are going to be easier to push. Different game modes are going to be easier to push. Overall, the changes that can be made in a more timely fashion and with a lot more certainty. Like you said, there's little glitches that come out with every one of the updates right now for Rocket League. Even the one that we just had for the start of the season has found itself with glitches that they now need to go through said spaghetti code and try to figure out why exactly that happened. It's a lot less problematic once you have an updated engine, which also leads to a lot more availability to update other parts of the game as well. We've seen criticisms of Rocket League for their game modes as of past. A lot of limited game modes that don't ever become permanent fixtures within the game. We've seen Heat Seeker, which is really only available in private matches. We've seen Knockout, which isn't even available in private matches anymore. They took it out of the game as soon as the LTM was over, whereas you get to the newer coding, the newer UE5 model, and theoretically, those should be able to stay around a lot longer, and they can do a lot more with them. So the goal right now is to see UE5 get added and see what sort of expansions can come with it. Like we said, game modes, the ability to have updates easier, and honestly, on top of all of that, it's just going to look better. We saw this with CS2, updating to their new the CS Source 2 engine has created a beautiful game. And Rocket League, while maybe not normally known for its stunning and aesthetic features, is definitely one that when it gets that update to UE5, it's going to look gorgeous.
And that kind of update brings in a new audience too,
Yes.
right? I mean, you can think back to when free to play came for Rocket League. That was a resurgence for the audience of Rocket League. A bunch of new players crowding in. We haven't really seen that resurgence like that since when it happened 3 years ago. And that may feel like it was just a day ago, but no, that was 3 years ago. And I feel like the population of the game has been slowly dwindling, still active, don't get me wrong, but probably not growing to the degree it was. A new and improved game with those stylistic features is absolutely going to bring people to the game. I mean, best thing about how Overwatch 2 brought all those players as well, and really all they changed was a night and day version of the maps. Okay, it doesn't take a lot to bring gamers back to a game and make them play it as well, and I have more faith in what the developers are doing for the second version of Rocket League on Unreal Engine 5 and how it could look, even if, Bass, it's just a night and day version of the same maps.
Theoretically, we should get at least a little bit more than night and day maps, including what is probably the hottest topic of discussion when it comes to UE5 is a creative mode. So if you guys pay attention at all to Fortnite and the ways that they have changed, once moving over to Unreal Engine 5, they even created Unreal Fortnite, which is basically a Unreal Engine built within Fortnite to create other games. And it's not just games within Fortnite, it is completely brand new IPs and ideas. And if Rocket League is able to move over to UE5, it is theorized that it should be easier for them to implement a creative mode. Now, that being said, there's no guarantee that if we move over to this new Unreal Engine, we will get a creative mode. It is theorized that it's possible, but it still needs to be built, it still needs to be tested, it still needs to exist in the first place and be a topic of discussion amongst the team. And again, without comments from Psyonix, we're not sure how understanding they are of this, but I'm going to be frank, I'm pretty sure they know creative mode is going to be a necessity. It has been an ask for years out of the Rocket League community, is that we have a relatively, I wouldn't say stale, but standard and stagnant amount of modes at this point. It is standard car soccer, whether it is 1v1, 2v2, or 3v3, that is the basics. On top of that, we've got some extra modes, but there's extra modes people have never heard of or never played. Volleyball is extremely prominent within the workshop community, but if you were able to give them a creative mode built into the game, all of a sudden, those ideas can flourish in brand new ways, and you don't have to worry about interconnectivity as well. The issue with a lot of these workshop maps is people want to play them together, but they can't, not unless they get plugins, not unless they have Bacchus mod and some sort of connectivity through those Bacchus mod plugins. It doesn't exactly work. When you get creative mode, when you are able to build in these maps into the game, build in these new creations, it allows players to play together, or at least it is theorized that it should. And when that happens, that's a whole new barrel of fish we've never seen within Rocket League that is finally able to unveil itself.
Yeah, listen, the obstacles, the hurdles that players have to go through, and even map makers and custom Bacchus mod, whatever, creators of workshop modes, it's so much work to just get these cool custom maps into play fun game modes with your friends. Like, let the creativity thrive. And like Bass mentioned, we got to be careful when we say UE5 equals custom workshop mode, because it doesn't, but it does make it easier to be developed and updated as it goes. So it's still something to look forward to. And I think, as Bass said as well, we'd be foolish not to expect something like that kind of in the making with a new game engine. I mean, Bass, with potentially a workshop mode coming, this reminds me of like Halo Forge mode. Some of my best gaming memories were from me and my friends and my cousin and my brothers just making stupid maps, inviting everyone to play in them. There was actually a way to party up with people you found in matchmaking, and if you got party leader, you could take them out of matchmaking into custom modes and put them in your stupid game modes that you made, and it was some of the funniest things ever. Best gaming memories made right there. And if Halo can do it, come on, so can Rocket League. I believe we can make better memories in the game with Unreal Engine 5 if and when it comes.
If and when it comes is really the big theorizing, point at this point. We have no date on Unreal Engine 5. We don't even know if it's going to be a topic of discussion for the next year, next 2 years, next 3, whenever it may come out. The big thing is, though, is that the potential is limitless at this point. There's so many ideas of what could come through this, and that is even being pointed out by Rocket League, which have, again, through another new leak, it seems like they might even be making a racing mode, which is, again, talking about the capitalization upon the uniqueness of Rocket League. So many other games right now within prevalency, within esports, and within just video games in general are based around first or third person shooters or platformers or similar. There are very few car-based games that have the creative abilities of Rocket League. We've seen this also in times past. A good example would be PUBG being able to get created, I believe, out of DayZ in the first place, being able to create other games within games and let them flourish into something larger. So if you give the chance to Rocket League to utilize the car mechanics that they have in the game and maybe build other games out of that, who knows what we could find. Again, it's a lot of theorizing as of right now, so the only thing we can really do is sit and wait. Hopefully, we get a new announcement from Rocket League sometime soon, especially considering the end of the competitive season is coming up for their esports. The World Championship going to be in August in Dusseldorf. Hopefully, we get an announcement by then, or maybe we get an announcement after. Who knows? All we know is sit tight and wait for some more updates here on the esports.net Rocket League show. That's all that we've got for this week. We hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what you guys think about UE5 in the comments down below. When do you think it's coming out? What do you think it's going to bring? We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.